In the headlines, Kaduna-based negotiator confirms that one of the abducted Abuja-Kaduna train passengers in captivity has been shot. Court grants Rivers Rep. Dagogo bail after 62 days. National Pension Commission says liabilities recovery moves yielding results. And on the foreign scene, Sudan's military strikes disputed region bordering Ethiopia. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Dashan Hussaina Usman. Now the news in detail. One of the passengers of the Kaduna-bound train that was attacked by terrorists in March has been shot in captivity. According to Tukur Mamu, the publisher who has been negotiating with the terrorists, the victim, identified as Muhammad, is currently in critical condition. Mamu, who facilitated the release of the 11 of the passengers, confirmed the development to Daily Trust. He said the government must be prepared to take full responsibility if they fail to act on time. Mamu said there has been constant communication, but government is yet to take action. It is, however, pertinent to know that President Muhammadu Buhari has repeatedly ordered security agencies to ensure the release of the victims. Bandits have again invaded Sabongero community in Millennium City, Chikun local government area of Kaduna State. Reports say 2 officials of the Joint Task Force were killed and many others abducted, including a pharmacist and his wife. Daily Trust reports that 6 of the earlier abducted victims were able to escape. According to eyewitnesses who do not want to be mentioned, the incident occurred early Wednesday morning. They said 2 officials of the JTF were killed in the attack while trying to stop the bandits from kidnapping residents. The attack is coming days after 7 residents of KKA and KKB communities in the same area, including the wife of a soldier, were kidnapped. The Police Public Relations Officer, Kaduna Command, DSP Muhammad Jaligay, was contacted but is yet to confirm the incident. Moving on, the Nigerian Senate is sending a delegation to the United Kingdom on a solidarity visit to the embattled former Deputy President of the Senate, Ike Ekweremadu, and his wife, Beatrice. Senate President Ahmed Lawan made the announcement on Wednesday's plenary after a closed-door session. According to the Senate President, the lawmakers drawn from the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs are expected to be in the UK on Friday. Lawan also commended the British High Commission for the way the alleged organ harvesting suit is being handled so far. Meanwhile, lawmakers in the Senate chambers of the National Assembly have commenced the screening of the ministerial nominees recently appointed by President Muhammadu Buhari. The screening is ongoing at a plenary presided over by the Senate President Ahmed Lawan. Zamfara State House of Assembly has passed a bill to provide a law for the prohibition and punishment for banditry, cattle rustling, cultism, kidnapping, terrorism, and other incidental offenses 2022. The act, an executive bill sent to the House by Governor Bello Matawalle, was passed during the Assembly's plenary. Presenting the bill before the House, Deputy House Leader and Chairman, House Committee on Justice and Judiciary, Nasiru Bello Lawal, APC Bungudu West, called on the lawmakers to allow it to go for 3rd reading. The Speaker, Nasiru Magaria, said the bill was important because it will contribute to peace and stability in the state.
Start prohibiting and punishing the free cattle rustling, considering kidnapping alliance entails offenses that yesterday defined by the House of Assembly on Today
we have signed a bill on prohibition and the punishment of banditry, cattle rustling, cultism, kidnapping, and other incidental offenses 2022. Recall that yesterday I inaugurated 4 security-related committees as part of our counter-banditry initiative. The formation of the committee is aimed at ensuring the effective implementation of the security measures being taken to end the over-decade-old problem of banditry and other security-related issues. I have already signed Executive Order number 7, 8, 9, and 10 which provide the legal instrument for the operation of the committees. As you all know, the most fundamental focus of governance anywhere in the world is security. We are determined to go to any level within the precinct of the law in order to secure our state, restore peace in our communities, and place the state on a sound and enduring development trajectory.
It also needs the Commission on Information to support the assignment and the oversight to support the
Rivers State High Court sitting in Port Harcourt has granted bail to the federal lawmaker representing the Gema Boni Federal Constituency, Farada Gogo. Trial Judge Justice Chinwendu Nwogu in his ruling ordered that before the Gogo Farah could be released from custody, he must meet the bail conditions. The report.
Justice Nwogu in his ruling also added that Farah Dagogo must not be allowed to travel outside the country and should deposit his international passport with the court. Trust TV reports that the trial judge in his ruling also directed that the shorty must be an indigene of Rivers State who owns a landed property within Port Harcourt metropolis that must value nothing less than 20 million naira. Meanwhile, the defense team spoke on the matter shortly after the court proceedings.
The ruling on the bail application was delivered, and in the wisdom of the court, I haven't considered the facts that were placed before the court in the affidavit. The court deemed it fit and necessary to grant the applicant, Honorable Farah Dagogo, bail on the terms that was read out in the course of the ruling. So, in principle, he has been granted bail by the Honorable Court, pending the trial and determination of the substantive suit against him. Yes. So a date to be communicated by the court. I think that is still a little bit edgy, but I'm sure that by the next adjourned date, we will come in for the hearing of the matter.
It could be recalled that Farah Dagogo, representing Buni Dejima Federal Constituency and governorship aspirant, was arrested by the police at PDP South office in Port Harcourt venue of governorship screening exercise for aspirant. He was arraigned before a separate court after being levied with 2-count charges bordering on felony and attempted disruption of screening of PDP aspirant at the party secretariat in Port Harcourt.
Nigeria's main opposition party, People's Democratic Party, will actively participate in the presidential and governorship election debates being organized by Media Trust Limited, owners of Daily Trust, Trust TV and Armenia. The endorsement is given by the acting national chairman of the party, Ambassador Umar Damagun, who led other NWC members to receive the election debate organizing committee on a courtesy call at Wadata House. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
It was a frank and friendly interface between the National Working Committee of the PDP and the Media Trust Election Debate Committee. Dr. Suleiman is the chairman of the company's editorial board and the Election Debate Committee. He explains the rationale and objectives behind the initiative.
At Media Trust, we do what we now call multimedia, multi-platform journalism. You can see we have representation from TV, newspaper, digital, and also radio. So it is this multi-platform journalism and the kind of broader responsibilities that it entails that lead us to the idea of thinking of planning and hosting debates in the Nigeria 2023 elections.
The acting chairman of the PDP, Ambassador Damagun, says the idea is apt and imperative. He, however, suggested interaction between the candidates and the electorates to make the debate more robust and enriching.
That idea of debate is very, very important because it will determine the best to come out and lead. And I also agree with you to go even into the Hausa aspect of the debate because Kano is one of the populous countries. I noticed you have not put Lagos as part of your district. You should think about also putting Lagos.
As journalists hungry for news, it is time to generate some news from the newsmakers. Questions were fired from different directions. From recent statements by elder statesmen Olusegun Obasanjo and Professor Ango Abdullahi to the raging Tinubu certificate saga, and the answers are not far-fetched.
I don't see him as a candidate because there is a laid down requirements to be a candidate. If somebody is telling you he has no certificate, then I don't think he's a candidate. But when he finds his certificate, then we will take the issue seriously. I have a lot of respect for Olusegun Obasanjo, being my former boss, but you see, that is his opinion, and everyone is entitled to his opinion.
The takeaway is that of a robust engagement in the media trust election debate and a more collaborative working relations anchored on the need to energize and sensitize the electorates towards making informed choices at the 2023 elections. Shapir Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Nigeria's Security and Civil Defense Corps Osun State Command has begun psychological assessment for its arms-bearing personnel and new recruits. The command spokesperson, Atanda Olabisi, disclosed this in a statement on Wednesday in Oshogbo. Olabisi said that the assessment, which started on Tuesday, is to ascertain the mental, emotional, and psychological status of the personnel. Olabisi said that the evaluation is being conducted in batches to give a greater opportunity for one-on-one interactions between the personnel and healthcare experts. The command had cautioned its personnel on the handling of weapons, saying that it would not accept any excuse for accidental discharge. Director General, Nigeria Center for Disease Control, Ifedayo Adetifa, says the NCDC has observed an increase in monkeypox cases in the country. Speaking during a virtual media dialogue on monkeypox, he warned that if the current trajectory continues or is sustained, Nigeria might match or exceed the peak number of cases seen in 2017 when the monkeypox re-emerged. The latest situation reports on monkeypox shows that there were 62 confirmed cases, 204 suspected cases, and 1 death so far from the disease since the beginning of the year. Adetifa said since January 1, several countries had been affected by an unprecedented outbreak of monkeypox, leading to over 3,000 laboratory confirmed and 1 death from the virus as of June 22. He said prevailing media perception and misinformation on monkeypox had fueled false narratives about the virus, adding that the potential risk of discrimination and stigmatization from this requires urgent social and behavior change intervention. Country representative of the World Health Organization, Walter Mulombo, said a new vaccine, MVA-BN, against smallpox and monkeypox had been approved, but not yet widely available outside national stockpiles. You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. Gombe brothel, where teenage girls are initiated into prostitution. Do stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Let's take a look at some of our top stories. We told you that Kaduna-based negotiator has confirmed that one of the abducted Abuja-Kaduna train passengers in captivity has been shot. You also heard that court grants Rivers Rep. Dagogo bail after 62 days. Moving on to more news, youths play vital roles in nation building as they offer unique contributions to national development. Education activist Amina Abubakar stated this in an interview with Trust TV. The report.
Amina Abubakar further stressed the need for all stakeholders to ensure that all hands are on deck to lift the educational system in the country, as it is the backbone of growth and development.
I think it's not very necessary because all stakeholders involved need to actually wear the shoes of those students. And the country is already upside down with a lot of crisis. And you're talking about millions more young Nigerians idle with nothing to do. Some of them have businesses they run in these universities. So aside just being idle, they are also out of market.
She added that the prolonged strike will further reduce the performance of students and pave way for hooliganism, among other societal ills. The education activist called on the federal government to give priority to education by implementing the promise it made in 2016 to allocate 15 or 26% of the total budget to education.
Another very important demand that the federal government has not really lived up to its words, like the president made a promise in 2016 in the summit in London, that they are going to key into UNESCO's minimum recommendation for the national budget of at least 15% or 26% earmarked for education. And that is not happening. Like you see only not up to half of that being earmarked for education, and education is capital intensive.
A cross-section of students who spoke on the negative impact of the prolonged strike on their academic pursuits revealed that the prolonged strike has, among other things, disrupted the academic calendar.
Many students now, they are at home, they are not doing anything. Some are probably doing work at home, but it does not change the fact that students are supposed to be in school and round up within the time range. And we just suffered from coronavirus, the period where we stayed almost 1 year at home, and schools are trying to meet up to that time. Like they are trying to meet up again so that everything will be in place. But now again, they are going on strike. So it's really, really bad. I've been in school for a very, very long time, and almost every section I must have strike.
It is a kind of conjunction between the government and ASU itself. So for them for students now to go back to school this semester, I doubt if it's possible. So it will be definitely maybe after the election before it will come up.
The students are, however, hopeful that ASU and the federal government will sooner than later resolve the issues that led to the strike action to enable them return to school.
Still on education, the former Commissioner for Education, Kaduna State, Mataimaki Tom Mayashi, has faulted the mass sacking of teachers by the state government, saying teachers' competency cannot be tested through writing exams, but in the classroom. The educationist, in an exclusive interview with Trust TV in Kaduna, said the state government owes the public an explanation on the legitimacy of the exercise. The report.
In 2017, Kaduna State government sacked over 21,000 teachers after they failed a competency test. The development generated reactions from different quarters and protests by the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC). Recently, the Kaduna State Universal Basic Education announced the dismissal of 2,357 teachers who failed competency tests conducted by the state government. In justifying the action, the government said it is to ensure that only competent teachers teach in public schools across the state. But according to former Commissioner of Education, Kaduna State Mataimaki Tom Mayashi, competency test is not the yardstick to test a teacher.
You cannot, by any standard, test and be able to know the competence of a teacher through a written test. Because a teacher works in the classroom. So you can have a PhD and be able to speak excellent English and analyze excellently. But we need to see you in the classroom, the way you deliver your lesson.
While acknowledging that assessing teachers is legitimate, he argued that such assessment must follow the standard of testing and improving the capacity of a teacher.
I saw that that you have to score 75% to be considered competent. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. What type of exam is that? That you have to score 75%, to be professionally competent. I don't understand that. But the state government owes all of us an explanation on how that is legitimate.
He also faulted the manner the state government recruit teachers.
State government had dismissed 21 teachers, which it considered incompetent, and it recruited new teachers. How come that at the point of recruitment, they were not able to assess the competence of those teachers before they are engaged?
He maintains that sacking of teachers will not improve the situation, but identifying the gaps in the teachers and closing such gaps through development of their skills. Mayor Shi called on the government to do only the needful to improve education in the states.
The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps Gombe State Command has paraded 20 girls and 14 men over alleged involvement in prostitution. The State Commandant, Waziri Babagoni, said about 10 hotels suspected to be brothels where underage girls were lured into prostitution were shut down. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
Then the CDC command said most of the underage girls ran away from home in search of something better. But unfortunately, they usually end up with notorious people who take advantage of the girls by exploiting and indulging them in illicit activities under the pretext of drama shows.
The man of the day, as you know, you don't stop them. You tell them to produce their licenses, but when they produce their license and registration with the CAC, it was a business premises, trading and merchandise. And with that license, now they are operating as a hotel and as a playground for ladies who are being brought across all the country. They are from Adamawa, from Borno, from Jos, and then from Taraba. Most of them are from the northeast. It's a very serious, security threat, and these are the, incidences that gives, robbery, kidnapping, and even cultism. At the end you cannot know them. They will come to lure ladies, these small girls. At the end of the day, cultism, they took them and then killed them. And these are, these things. Some of them are robbers. You cannot know them. And robbers can hide in the pretext of that play and then hotel. So they will do all possible best, in order to, do crime.
Some of the girls who speak to Trust TV said they feel violated and exploited. Without the consent of my parents, they don't know I am here in Gombe and into this. It is true we are into prostitution. They spray money to us at the club. We can decide to follow the person to a hotel room. So used to follow my boyfriend who feeds me.
No money I gave up.
Someone may want to sleep with you if you agree, but you can run away. He can pay like 20 to 30,000 naira. Then the CDC also paraded 3 suspected hoodlums engaged in rail track vandalism and a suspected kidnapper. He said the suspect will be charged to court. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Moving on to business, the National Pension Commission's objective to appoint 172 law and accounting firms to recover pension liabilities is yielding fruits. According to PenCom, in its report for the first quarter of the year, 422.34 million naira, representing principal contribution of 124.89 million naira and penalty of 295.45 million naira was recovered from 23 defaulted employers by the recovery agents. PenCom Director General Aisha Dahiru, in a statement, said the Commission has been able to recover unremitted pension contributions along with the accrued interest from defaulting employers. She said that the sums were paid into the RSAs of the affected employees and not the PenCom. On the foreign scene, Sudan's armed forces fired heavy artillery during clashes in the disputed eastern region of Al-Fashaqqa, bordering Ethiopia, the latest bombardment in a long-running feud over their shared border. Reports say Sudan was able to capture Jabal Kala al-Laban, an area near the contested border, on Tuesday, following an artillery barrage and an air raid. On Monday, Ethiopia denied Sudan's accusation that its army had captured and executed 7 Sudanese soldiers and a civilian, instead blaming the killings on a local fighter group. Sudanese government sources said Sudan had filed a formal complaint with the United Nations Security Council over the killings. The quarrel over Al-Fashaqqa, which lies within Sudan's international boundaries but has been settled by Ethiopian farmers for decades, has escalated in recent years alongside a diplomatic spat over Ethiopia's construction of a hydropower dam. And finally, in sports, Romelu Lukaku says he is happy to be back after the Belgian international striker arrived in Milan on Wednesday ahead of his return to Inter Milan on loan from Chelsea. A beaming Lukaku emerged from Linate Airport Wednesday morning and gave his short but delighted response to the handful of reporters awaiting his arrival. The 29-year-old will undergo a medical before making his long-awaited Inter comeback official. Chelsea agreed to a reported deal in which Inter will pay an initial €8 million plus a further potential €3 million in bonuses for the loan. Lukaku will again lead Inter's attack as they attempt to regain the Serie A title after taking a pay cut, a reported €8.5 million for the coming campaign. And with this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.